Hey Alex, Coach Benlin here. Just breaking down some of your swings. Just wanted to go over a couple of things that I'm looking at here, a couple improvements and some adjustments for the next session. And then I'll show you a comparison at the end of an MLB guy that I think we could learn a little bit from. Let's start with some of the swings from your last session. Before I do that, I want to go over. I put all my notes into a document here to kind of help you, and I can email this to you as well, so you could follow along. Just to get your eyes on some of the terminology that we're using. And let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, so here we go. First, I want to go over some of the improvements that we're seeing. We've been working with your load a lot, trying to develop rhythm while maintaining a good sense of timing and generating power. We've used the terms hover and hit in the last session, trying to get you to kind of stay over that back hip, lifting the front side up, building tension, getting ready to launch while staying balanced. We had in the earlier parts of the December sessions, we worked on a high leg kick, trying to, get you over that backside and generate power. But I think we kind of moved on from that, and we're focusing more on that hover and hit, tracking the ball and staying balanced, staying back, ready to attack. And I think you're doing a much better job with that. I'll point out some adjustments as far as the load coming up soon. Your hands, we focused on your hands as one of the key points of things we have to, address. You were tending to go up in the load with your hands and then coming down. So you're doing a much better job from what I'm seeing here of going back in the load rather than going up and getting to that launch position with your hands back ready to go. So definitely major improvements in that area. We also talk about your head movement, right? We talk about being shoulder to shoulder with the head movement, staying locked on the front shoulder early, tracking the ball out of the pitcher's hand, 60 feet, 6 inches, your head down at the point of contact, and finishing on that back shoulder. And we're developing that. We're getting there, but definitely some improvements from the old videos. And I could show you what that looks like. As far as adjustments, let me scroll down. Still working on that load, right? Finding an appropriate timing mechanism. We got to find out which load is going to be. I've shown you a bunch of different loads that we can mess around with until you feel comfortable. But these inconsistent loads, they're messing with your timing, and timing is everything as far as hitting. We got to make sure that you are generating power. You are getting in that rhythm, which I think you're improving on dramatically. Make sure that foot gets down, the front foot gets down, and you're ready to hit. So we'll figure out a consistent load so that our timing is, on point. I'm going to talk about balance, and we're going to use the term creating an axis. We define a midpoint for your balance point, and I feel like you're drifting away from that center of gravity. You're ending up on your front foot a little bit. You're not keeping your weight back as much as you can, and I feel like you're leaking out some power and some energy as the pitch is coming in. We want to avoid transferring too much weight to that front foot. And I'll show you in the videos in a second. I think there's just too much forward and downward action, leading to a lot of ground balls. We've been really focusing on the hand path with both hands, and we use the small bat for the isolated top hand, bottom hand drills. We'll continue to do that. We talk about the bottom hand throwing the frisbee, getting the bottom hand through, leading the way with the knob, finishing that path, that bottom hand, and extending through the baseball. I'll show you in the video. You kind of just put your hand away after contact, both hands away. Top hand, same thing, right? You're kind of rolling it over, putting it in your pocket. We want to make sure that we're finishing palm up and an uppercut with the elbow tight to the body. And I know this is very wordy, but hopefully I can walk you through it in the video in a second so that, we have a firm understanding so we can translate this into the next session. Last was the extension, like I just mentioned with the bottom hand and top hand. Getting through those 3 baseballs, extending through the point of contact, not being satisfied at contact, getting that knob of the bat inside and in front of the baseball, getting into that power V with both hands, both arms extended out in front of the body into your up and out finish. And I think if we put these in and we start working on these for the next few sessions, I definitely think we'll see major improvements. But let's get into some of the swings here. Let's start with one from a previous session earlier in the month. I want to see, what we're looking at here. Let me just open this up a little bit. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Earlier, I thought we had not a lot going on in the load, right? We weren't generating. There's no timing. It was kind of like pick it up, put it down, and swing. Pick it up, put it down, and swing. And there's no rhythm. There's no flow. And I definitely think we're trending in the right direction as far as that. Um, we're still, playing around with the different types of loads, finding one that's comfortable. But from this kind of robotic up and down, punch through the ball, I think we're definitely getting a little better at that. Let me show you this compared to the last swings in the last session. So this is from the December 23rd session. Let me pull it up. Okay, and you're going to see that there's a couple good swings in here, but there's also your timing is throwing you off, right? It's mostly because we're messing around with different loads. So let's take a look here. That's a practice swing. I love that practice swing. I'll play that again, actually. I love this practice swing. Getting over the back hip there, staying balanced, right? You're a little upright. We talk about being in an athletic position, but watch, head down. Right there, it's a good shot right there for the most part. You have good center of gravity, good balance point here. So not bad right there. And then as the pitch comes in, you'll see you kind of forget about some of those things. Maybe you're thinking about it too much, and you start kind of drifting forward over that front foot. So let's see the swings, and then we'll focus on different parts here. A lot of ground balls, mostly because of timing. Very late. Can't be late. It's a good swing right there, nice and level. Once again, timing. Definitely an issue here. Okay, so let's take a second and look at these again, and we'll focus on some of the adjustments that we're talking about. Okay. First of all, let's watch the head movement here. Let's see if we're tracking that ball and continuing improving our head position here. And the practice swings, I see that you're working on it. Let's see on the first swing here. Yeah, better job seeing into the barrel. Last week, the week before, you were pulling your head out, right? You were watching it probably half the way and kind of guessing where it would finish over the plate. So you're doing a better job with that. I want you to watch the transferring of your weight though. Watch how everything ends up on the front side, almost over the front foot on the front leg. See right there? Let's watch it again. And if we're using here, let me draw on the screen here. If we're using, kind of if we go from the chin down, through the belly button here, and this is our center of gravity here. This is kind of our balance point here. Let's watch how we kind of transition away from that. Keep an eye on that. And you're gonna kind of transition forward away from that. Right there, you're back. Then you start tracking, and I think you're drifting forward past that line right there, and then you end up a little bit on the front foot. This is one of the better swings too, but you'll see in a second how it kind of gets to you. Leads to some ground balls. But decent balance there, decent balance point. Let's see this swing right here. There you go. So you're all over the front foot here, leaning forward like you're jumping out to get the ball. We got to be patient, let it get to us. And I use the term create an axis. We want to make sure that we're staying over that midpoint and we're ready to rotate on that axis and throw our hips at the ball. That's something that we'll do in a drill next time I see you. I have it in my notes here. So we'll definitely work on that. I want to focus on one more time through this clip here, focusing on the hands, right? The hand path we talk about. So check this out here, and I'll also show you the MLB comparison to show you what the hands should be doing. Now, I like what they're doing here in that practice. And like I said, they're out in front. I mean, look where they are. Here, let me draw on the screen. Look where the hands are getting out here, right? The knob should be leading the way. They should continue through the three baseballs, 1, 2, 3, before they finish up and out here, right? That's where we want to go. We want to go from this kind of where the bat's going to be, whip it through the zone, through the back of the zone here, extend through contact there, and finish up and around our back. Now, in the practice swing, it looks great, but let's watch the path of the hands in the other swings. So let's watch, pause it, start load. Right there, hands are in a decent position, kind of wrapping the bat, but we'll work on that. Right here, looks pretty good at this point. Let's see if those hands finish and get in front, with the knob leading through the ball. You see right there? I'm gonna show you in the next swing. As soon as they get to that point of contact, they're gonna run away into the pocket, okay? It's almost like you're short arming it rather than extending through. Remember, we're gonna lead with the knob, not the barrel. Here's again. And we talk about throwing the frisbee with the bottom hand, right? So we're talking about the bottom hand here. If it's starting from this position right here, right, we want to pull that knob straight through, get the knob in front of the baseball out here, and then finish up and out to there, right? Extend through the ball and finish. One more time, one more look at it, and then I'll show you some work off the tee. Extension through the baseball is key. That's a great swing right there. That's better. Okay, let's move on here. We have some clips off the tee as well that I wanted to show you. And it's funny because I noticed that your load, let me open this up. I noticed that your load's a little different in these tee shots here. You kind of put a hitch into it, crossing your knee over a little bit, a couple angles from the back here, then we'll go side angle. Head down. I see you working on the head placement. Pretty good. Look at that knob inside the ball. That's pretty good stuff right there. We got to make sure that transfers from the tee into the front toss and eventually to the overhand live pitching. When you get to the side angle, you'll see this hitch that you put in. But I like that I like that you're experimenting with the loads until we find a comfortable one. See that hitch? We want to avoid that hitch though. We want to avoid changing our eye level. Minimal head movement so we can track the ball and see the ball well. One more time. This will give you a great view of that top hand too. We want to make sure that elbow is tight to the body here. That's a pretty good swing right there. Right there. You see how you're short arming it? You're locking your arms right there rather than letting them finish all the way out in front, getting extended with your arms in front of the baseball before you put them away. So we're going to focus on that hand path in the next session. And I know I'm giving you a lot here, so please feel free to reach out with any questions or save them for the next session. We have plenty of time to develop these, but consistency in the load, definitely going to be a focal point. And fixing that hand path there. Okay, cool. I wanted to show you another video of another MLB comparison that I want you to see. And I do something pretty cool with the video. So let me show you this. Okay. So here's a video of, oops, sorry, 1 second. Okay. Here's a video of a professional hitter. Starling Marte, okay, here's they call it strobe motion, and I think it's a good look at the hand path here. So let's check this out. Here's a front view, and then I'll go to a side view right here. You'll notice the extension out in front of the baseball. There's that strobe motion. Let me show it to you one more time right here. Slow motion. Pause it right here. Here comes the swing plane. Knob going through the baseball right there. Balanced. He's creating that axis right down the middle that we'll talk about. And I watch, see the extension? See where his hands finish out in front here through the baseball? Big up and out finish right there. That's what we need to get to that point. It's a great shot for you right there. We want to make sure that we're hitting this checklist here as far as, are we extended, right? Are we extended? Hands out in front. Look at the front side. He's not drifting over the front leg. He's staying with his weight back, balanced over the midpoint, good 90-degree in the back, right? Head all over, point of contact here. If I'm drawing that balance point, that axis that he's creating right down the middle here. You want to avoid drifting forward. So one more time, let me show you with that strobe motion to show you the path here. And then we'll wrap it all up. Here's a swing. And watch his hands. High hand path, finishing out in front. All things we'll work on the next session. Okay, so just to review real quick, and I'll send you this document as well. We like what you're doing as far as improvements with the load, experimenting with the loads, developing rhythm. We'll continue until we find one that you're comfortable with. I like that the hands are getting back; they're not going up anymore. Your head movement, it's a good. I see that you're working on it, right? Not drifting off with that front shoulder, keeping your eyes down through the point of contact. The adjustments we'll continue to work on in the load is finding a good timing mechanism, not being late, right? Staying on time, getting that front foot down, ready to hit. The balance, not drifting forward, we don't want that forward downward action that leads to ground balls. We want to create an axis where we can pivot and throw our hips and stay balanced. Continuing to work on the hand path with the bottom hand and the top hand, throwing the frisbee with the bottom hand, and then finishing palm up with the elbow tight to the body with the top hand. And then most importantly, like we saw with that strobe motion with Starling Marte, extending through the baseball, finishing out in front, and leading to that big up and out finish. Okay, I'll send this PDF over to you. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Here's the information once again. You can email me. I'll get right back to you. And I look forward to working with you in the next session. I hope this helps. Any questions, bring them into the next session and we'll work over the vocabulary and the terminology.